game you dominated other than the first minutes, the only chance they had, but second half you really took them apart.
You know, it was a real eye-opener that first minute. You know, it was a square pass by Reece Devine, and probably the only time he gave the ball away, to tell you the truth. And it was nicked. Next thing you know, they've got to the byline and crossed a superb ball. It must have been one of the best crosses I've seen for a long time, to the back post, big lads there. And Christian Dibble's there to make a save, you know, which it didn't sort of mark our card, because we knew that could be the case. You know, they're stubborn, they're resilient. You know, we witnessed that when we played Warrington early on in the season. But when games are 0-0 and tight, we came in at half-time, and the biggest stat that was thrown at me at half-time by the analysts were we had 14 shots in the first half and we hit the target 3 times. So I could play and go against that, you know. But it was coming, you know. I felt as if there was a flow about us, you know. I felt as if there was an energy about us, and a belief as well. And the earlier in the second half the goal came, the better. Less chance of Warrington to slow it down and make it a sort of a one-paced game. All of a sudden we score, they want to speed it up, they want to get an equaliser. Next thing you know, you've got a proper competition on your hands. But I really enjoyed, it's not often I can say this as a manager, how many games I've managed, I don't know, but it's not often I can say I really enjoyed watching my team play today. I said that to the players at the end of the game. Second half the stats went up, there's no doubt about it. We hit the target more times, the keeper made great saves. Their back four put their bodies on the line, and consequently we won the game 2-0. It could have been a lot more comfortable, and I would like to have made changes earlier, because we've got such a hectic schedule coming up. I would like to have made 3 or 4 changes after an hour, but you know, I want to pay the opposition as much respect as I can. They stayed in the game at 2-0. If they get a goal, it could be hear 'em, scare 'em time at the end, but it's a really good professional performance with and without the ball.
I thought the real change in that second half was Reece Devine injecting pace down that left-hand side. I thought he was outstanding.
Again, go back to it, winger or fullback, I don't know. The wing-back situation seems to suit him, but it also seems to suit Caleb Richards. It also seems to suit Joe Fawkes, and 2 of them are definite fullbacks, there's no doubt in my mind, can play in a flat back 4. But the system seems to suit us, you know. I think the coming alive of the front 3 at this moment in time, I'm not saying we'll put the fear of God into opposition, but they know they're going to have to be on the metal to stop Amari Morgan-Smith's physicality and the way he leads the line, to stop Ash Emmons and Maz Kuya, you know, the creativity side of things. But couple that with the wing backs, I mean, dear me. But Reece Devine, yeah, you mentioned it, the second half, cutting inside, going on his left foot, coming on his right foot, hitting the byline, getting crosses in, shots, you name it, everything in the business end of the pitch. Reece Devine was at the thick of it.
And Riley Reynolds grew in confidence as the game went on.
He could have walked away with a match ball, quite simply. And I'm looking forward to the day when he does score, because it lifts, sort of, I don't say he's under pressure, but it lifts something that you start thinking, ooh, that's my job, you know, maybe I can get on the score sheet. In a 3 in midfield, I think he's one of them that'll take a chance, because you've got the sitting midfield player, but we're playing him in a 2 with him and Brownie in that. Right arm, left arm, they know what they're up to, but the energy levels from them 2 was phenomenal today. Brownie, we know, can run 12 kilometres, getting the 1,000-metre club week in and week out, and it looks like you know, Riley Reynolds can do that as well. But the competition, as I say, you've got, you know, David Davis on the touchline waiting to come on, and Jim Kellerman in the stands at the moment with a little tweak to a hamstring that we just had to protect today. But it's nice when you can rest them kind of players, and the 2 on the pitch are doing the business.
And it's that kind of game where you can analyse and go through with them and say, look, first half in control, patience,
yep.
Give nothing away. Second half, put the pace in, and then everything starts to grow and you take over.
I think, yeah, the pace in the game in the second half, we've just spoke about it before we came in the studio. It went up a notch because we scored that goal. All of a sudden, Warrington had something to try and grab or fight for. They had to get a goal. It opens up. We know the game plan for a lot of teams that come to Agra, but you know, bottom line is I have to commend the players more importantly for the clean sheet mentality. You know, that's won us the game again. You know, and I think, you know, unwritten, unsung heroes are the likes of, you know, Paul Downing, Reece McNally, Caleb Richards, the goalkeeper. Goes on away at times, but because Reece McNally scored a goal, that's consequently won us the game, and I want that more. That's the one demand I want to make on the players, that I want more match winners from defence. And what I mean by that, set piece comes in, ball comes in the box, Reece gets on the end of it and gets himself a winning goal, basically. If you get that, we've got strings to our bow in many, many areas, and hopefully that will continue between now and the end of the season.
And set you up nicely to go into Tuesday's game against Darlington.
It does. I mentioned, in the pre-match talk about 2 games at home, which is foolish of me because it's always the next game, as we always know. But at the same time, I also mentioned the target on my back being top of the league and all that kind of stuff. We've got to be able to deal with that. And I thought today the players showed that they can deal with that kind of pressure. And I think they're belonging there. They want to be there. They want to be fired at, shot at, if you want to say it. But they also want to play some good football. I thought we played some great football today. And Darlington, as you say, we beat them first game of the season. It was a tough old gig. It was a rugby pitch, a big pitch. And they've got one of ours, they've got Jack Lambert, which I think he can't play in the game, but, he's gone there. And since Jack has gone there, I think he's injected a little bit of belief and pace and credibility to their performances, and they're in a rich vein of form. I don't know how they got on today, but, they're in town, so they're the next one in town. And they'll be after us as a scalp and vice versa, It'll be a tough game, there's no doubt about it, but we're at Agbra again, and hopefully, I thought the crowd today were brilliant. I thought the second half, they really come alive. Maybe on the fact that the game speeded up, maybe on the fact that it was more of a spectacle, and maybe on the fact that we scored early and looked like we could have got 3, 4 or 5. But the crowd came alive, and we need that again on Tuesday night.
Any of your injured players likely to be back Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm hoping. Cam Candle has came through a fitness test today, but didn't want to risk him on the bench just in case one of the centre halves went down early doors, and you have to throw a player on who's been out, nursing an injury more than anything else. He's been very cautious, which we had to be, because we're coming into 6-7 games in January and then 6-7 games in February. So got to be right. They've got to be 100%. He came through that today. He wanted to be on the bench today. I didn't take him on where that was concerned, but I think he'll train Monday and hopefully put his hat in the ring for Tuesday. Do I change a winning team? Do I change a back 5 or a back 3? That's just kept a clean sheet. Very difficult. But people on the touchline and in the stands and sitting on the bench are really knocking at the door and putting my job in an untenable situation at times. But that's what I like about management.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It is a challenge, isn't it, going into Tuesday, because you talk about changing a winning team and perhaps not wanting to do that, but it's such a shift out there today that Darlington on Tuesday is a different kind of test, and it's a difficult job to manage, I suppose. It's
almost you've got the numbers, Matty, and you don't play with numbers, you just analyse them and try and make sense out of them, and I'm talking about numbers of distance covered, high intensity work that they've done, the amount of, the numbers will point me in the right direction, hopefully, for people who maybe need a rest. But I'll tell you what, the attitude of the players is they want to play every game, and if they want to play every game and they're winning 2-0, I'd be a foolish man to ignore it.
And I have to just mention the move for the second goal, because at times it was a game that called for a bit of composure, and from start to finish it was a good move, wasn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There was I'm not a big believer in the Olays. It's almost the saying that cockiness and, let's keep grounded, let's stay with it, and give the respect to the opposition if they deserve it. I thought they made a game of it in the second half, they wanted to come out because we scored early. It was as simple as it gets, I just spoke to the referee and congratulated him on speeding up the game, if you like, or the tempo of the game in the second half was markedly better than the first. And I made reference to the Alfredson game when Alfredson came in town and the people were 1-0, and it was such a doer game. It was slowed down by the opposition, and we couldn't do anything about it. Every time the ball went out of play, it was 35 seconds for it to take a throw in. That wasn't the case today because we scored early, and that wasn't the case today. I think the referee was on top of it as well. I think they've got to be aware of it. Can they do anything about it? The hands are tied, if truth be known. The tempo of the game is down to 2 teams. It's down to 2 managers, not just one. And we'll go to Alfredton, there's no doubt about it. We'll try and entertain and speed the game up. Will we get the same kind of mentality and attitude? Absolutely, but that's way down the line. We're at Agbra on Tuesday. We're looking forward to the game. It's against Darlington, who are a decent team, and bring it on.